Good afternoon and welcome to this week's episode of Women Speaking. My name is Caroline Ayot. I am your host. This week we'll be talking about the Uganda Country Forum that was held last week and the activities of political parties. Last week, the Center for Constitutional Governance, in collaboration with the NGO Forum and other partners, organized a country forum to talk about peaceful elections ahead of 2026. It was organized under the theme, Fostering a Conducive Environment for Credible, Free, Fair and Peaceful 2026 General Elections in Uganda. With me in studio today, I have a credible panel to discuss and dissect this very important topic. I will start introducing them from my immediate left, going. I have Winnie Mugambwa. She is a human rights defender. Winnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I also have Ms. Ankunda Trasyleen. Ankunda Trasyleen is a lawyer and our youth political commentator for today. Welcome to the show, Tracy.
Thank you, Nancy.
We also have Ms. Irene Nassolo. Irene is an aspirant for Busiro East on the direct seat of a member of parliament. Honorable, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. And then we also have Ms. Nantongo Bashira. She's an aspirant for Busiro North, which is really close. Your constituency, you guys are neighbors. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having us here.
Yes, we hope to get your political insights into the issues of today. Yeah, thank you. So I will begin by getting your thoughts on the Country Forum, Trasyleen. What were the major highlights and the recommendations that different stakeholders brought in place? Because I know the Electoral Commission was there, the Human Rights Commission was there. We had representatives from different political parties, CSO, but also people from academia and media. So what were the key takeaways that you got from this?
Okay, interesting. So to begin with is that the Uganda Country Forum is the first of its kind we are having in Uganda, and we want to thank the Center for Constitutional Governance for bringing into such a space or a platform for advocacy, especially that we are in a political season and elections is everyone's word wherever you go. Now, picking it up from AHEAD, which is part of the partners or the founding members, is that AHEAD is an acronym, or in full it can be a holistic approach towards electoral democracy. Now, if we are looking at a holistic approach towards electoral democracy, what must that envision, or what must that look like? Is it a space where we have free and fair elections? Is it a space where we have women come on board freely without being limited by the fact that you are a woman and so you should not come on this space? Or is it a holistic approach where we are talking about solidarity, that we understand the aspect of the electoral processes to be one that calls for holistic or solidarity of each and every individual? Either you're going to participate as a voter, either you are a registrar, or you are a campaign agent, whichever role that you actually intend to take. Now, back to the fairness and the space that you are in. How happy or how safe is it for you? Because the Uganda Country Forum basically was looking at the aspect of how do we bring various stakeholders on board to leverage and actually advocate for a more conducive, safe space for this performance. Now, looking at the Electoral Commission, we all know the mandate of the Electoral Commission in organizing elections. What is wrong with the registers that we have? Because we up to now have challenges of people not being in registers, and perhaps they will not vote. Because from my own perspective, one of the youth in my village is not going to vote. He wanted to contest, but he was not in the register, and he's a member of that village, and he registered. So what happens to those names that mysteriously disappear in the registers in the communities? You're contesting and suddenly you find you're not even in the register. And also the aspect of the environment that you are in at the point of voting. How are we looking at digitalizing the space in a way that even someone who is unable to walk to the police station, their right to vote is not violated? But also the Uganda Country Forum was looking at collaboration and partnership in terms of not just elections, but also advocacy around democracy. And democracy funding in a way that usually the money that comes is centered more on the electoral processes, but forgets the aspect of fairness and democracy that tags along. And if you're to look at, for example, various key players like the IHON and also other entities across Africa, you realize that the challenges that Africa faces are the same. Last year we had elections in Ghana, last year or earlier this year in Ghana, and it was amazing how they have gone much with the digital space in terms of election votings and stuff like that. So it is a call that is looking at how do we protect civil societies, because civil societies are also part of the entities that look at basically observing these electoral processes. And so if you're not accredited, you're not protected. And if you're not protected, you're most likely going to face challenges. So the Uganda Country Forum is basically looking at what role do we put into the Electoral Commission by enforcing our rights. How do we bring the Ministry of Justice into this, because the Minister of Justice was around. And the aspect of who violates what punishment is there, and are actually those people getting that punishment. Because they are looking at an idea that, for example, if you're to look at polling agents, if you have, for example, you are aware that you have 400 voters within your constituency, or let me narrate to the village. Let's say my village, I come from in Nyakabanga, we have 500 voters. And if in tallying the votes to what the voters are, the number exceeds, you're liable to imprisonment for a term of 5 years. But then, has that over time been manifested? Has it been effected, or is it just on paper? So how do we strengthen the constitutional policies and laws that govern electoral processes? And how do we protect civil society organizations, but equally airing out the aspect that media needs protection? Because when you talk about media, these are people that actually cover these programs to show what is happening in this space and that space. And then also lastly on that is that the Uganda Forum is also looking at the protection that is there in regards to aspirations of the people themselves that actually are in these positions. How best can we monitor as voters the votes that we are actually voting? Is it possible that I can be in Gulu and be able to see that now President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in Isinjo has reached this number of votes at this point? And also to restore the lost glory in terms of democracy, and to re-echo the aspect of participation and collaboration of the different factors. So basically, the Uganda Forum is looking at collaboration, is looking at stakeholder engagement, is looking at electoral cycles, not just within the electoral processes, but even after the electoral processes, to keep on the civic engagement.
Thank you very much. In that same, it looks like a full coverage of everything that happened, and I would like to pick your thoughts on how the electoral cycle has evolved for women ever since the roadmap came up. Have you seen more participation? Have women been given liberty? Is there a free campaign? Are there more women going for direct seats and all that?
Okay, so
especially young women, really.
Yes. So the first platform I would say is the National Youth Council. But before the National Youth Council, I'll go to the youth leagues, because we have the NRM Youth League, we have the JEMA Youth League, we have all those other political parties that have actually tried to put up the youth league structures. So sadly, from the point of view of the NRM, is that these structures of the youth league are not actually, they do not have affirmative action. That you'll find in a district where you have maybe around 40 voters, you only have 2 or even no woman in those seats, because it was purely it was not having the affirmative action key in it. But also on the brighter side is that you have the Women League running. Now, the challenge that young women face is that if I show up to contest in the Women League, you find women saying, no, young girl, go to the youth. Now, if I go to the youth, you find the youth saying, no, go to the women. So eventually, our mothers are pushing us back, and the young boys decide are saying, go to your mothers. So you are just within a line without where you belong. Unless you actually feel this is where I should be, against all odds, I am going to be in that space. The second aspect is with the National Youth Council. Now, the National Youth Council likely has the female affairs representative. But then again, I think this should be way beyond us thinking that women inclusion should just be me being there as a female representative.
Yes.
It shows that we need more women in the aspect of you can be a chairperson, you can be, you can be finance. You don't just have to be the female affairs. I have a friend called Linda who was very happy that she won as a district chairperson NRM Youth League over BIM. So to me, I felt like, yeah, we're actually getting there, but to what percentage are we really contributing in this? And then also amazingly is that we've had a tremendous, I've seen Helen Zion, who is now the current president of the Uganda Young Democrats.
Yes.
And that's a good platform that if she uses, it could actually elevate us more women into the space. But also lastly, if you're to look at the NRM Youth League, we have not had a woman run on an NRM Youth League SEC position. It is only this year that we have Brenda Chichoncho, who is coming through and she's saying, that is not a men's seat. I'm also going to contest in that seat. So the platforms could be there, but the violence that comes along, especially in terms of financial muscle, that the feminization of poverty with women who are not able to even run campaigns, but also the gender roles that juxtapose me having to go home, cook, look after my husband, go to work, come back to campaign, you're running an entire district to look for votes. It's sad.
Work-life balance.
Yes, it's very tough. So basically I would say that the spaces are there, but the inclusion of women and dealing away with the fear that comes along with what will society think. Society thinks what it thinks, but we also must stand up and be able to get through it.
All right. And I'm going to ask you, you can tell me no or yes, but if you're going to give me a very long explanation, I think we keep it under 1 minute. But do you think the representation will manifest into results, or we are having tokens once again? Because many times on this show we've discussed representation. We've said women have been given space, they've been given seats, but there is no true representation.
I think I would answer that with two sides, because my first time to come here in 2022, I think, I met Helen here.
Yes.
Helen by then was just a vice president of the Uganda Young Democrats. Helen was able to say, Tracy, you're good. Come, let me connect you to someone in NRM who could actually also push you ahead. So to me, the mentorship that came along, even when she did not belong to my political party, the differences that we face within our different colors should not be a blindfold for us not to see that we are women and we can push this together. Lastly is that, yes, there is hope. Because if honestly one person has been saying they should remove affirmative action, if they did remove it, it would be worse. So it's a baby step towards what we want to achieve.
Thank you very much. That is very elaborate. Irene, I would like to draw you into the conversation because, you know, we've got a background of what the forum was about. The EC was present. The Uganda Human Rights Commission was present. And I would like to just pick your thoughts on what the political climate is like for you as a contestant right now. What is it like? Are you people campaigning? Have you got nomination from your party? Is it difficult? Are you allowed to campaign right now? Tell me about those restrictions or non-restrictions.
Restrictions and non-restrictions. Once again, my name is Irene Nassolo. I'm contesting on a direct seat, that is Busiro East. I'm coming back again. It's not my first time. It's the second time. I participated in 2021 elections. Yeah, and I believe that Ecological Party has announced me well, because from where the background I come from, I was not a politician. But my president saw something in me that I'm this kind of person who is organized and I can do something and I can organize politicians. And actually he pushed me so hard that you try it out, because I see potential in you. So for me and my party, Ecological Party, I believe that we have nurturing space for women.
Yes.
And through this space, I've been able to nurture many women to come to these political spaces.
Yes.
Not just to fight that the way they normally see that women, you have to fight for your position and all that, but make a difference. Show that you can do something, and people, they will appreciate who you are, whether you like it or not. And also through that, I was able to transit to Interparty Women's Platform. Before I could not sit where FDC is, or NRM, or DP. I was like, the pressure that I went through 2021, On my post, I remember was moving, and that was Kasengeje. A man was like, but that yellow, it is on your poster. Don't even ever come here. And I'm like, okay, but that is just a flower. Don't you appreciate flowers? Flowers are yellow, you know? And I remember one time I was wearing, over which color? Red. I went to NRM and they're like, you are good, you're okay, but the color, and I'm like, this is a woman who has just come to ask for a vote. Okay, put the colors aside, because actually today my wardrobe was saying red, but I'm a green person. I'm an environmentalist person. So can you embrace me of who I am? And this person was like, you speak very well, I like you, and I pray for blessings over you. So
is the climate different this time?
The climate is not that different, because this 2025, 26 elections, it's too much monetized. Because when you look at the prices of things, people, whenever you go out, they will demand, we are not seeing that, we are not seeing that, your opponent is doing so and so, how can you even come up to challenge, this is a seat of a man and all that. It is quite a big challenge, but you need to be firm, not to be shaken, because here it is a place where your faith will be tested to see whether you are a crybaby, or you can really move forward to do something that can really change for the better of the women and for the policies that we are going to influence in the future. Yes, because one of our main strategies, especially in the Interparty Women's Platform, it's affirmative seats, direct seats. And this time we believe that we have mentored many women who are going on those direct seats. Because last time there were many women who came there like, the district is quite huge that you cannot fit in. But a direct seat, you can strategize yourself well, and you are like, I'm going to be there and I'm going to win this. And more women are coming on board.
So right now, are you people campaigning on the ground?
Yes, we are.
Is it allowed?
It is a time for elections. We are talking about elections actually since last year, because the roadmap was there since last year. So you cannot tell me if when I come here and I say I'm contesting for this, am I not campaigning? Everyone is doing it. So should I wait until 17th, then I start and they tell me, oh, Madam Nassolo, yeah. Those are the things that they normally tell us. So yeah, going and greeting people, going and mourn with people, going and educating people and telling them who you are. I don't think there is any problem with that.
Yeah, so but you're not holding mass rallies?
Not yet. The mass rallies, not yet.
Not yet.
But going to meeting people, telling them of your intentions. Because last time I faced a huge hindrance. That's what it was like. You are good, but you have come late. What can we do for you? I love who you are, but my vote and my heart belongs to someone else.
Already.
Who came first? Who came first? So I want to avoid those scenarios, because the people, they are there and they are genuine. As long as you come and say your intentions, they will vote.
Some of the reflections from the Country Forum were also talking about the monetization of politics, and they talked about how the money that is spent on elections for every candidate should be cut down and regulated to a specific amount. Do you think this is a realistic expectation for our country?
The country, like a country, Uganda, I can say, we can start somewhere. We can start somewhere. That is if the Minister of Justice is able at least to bring out one culprit and they are nullified. Then everyone will say, okay, that is a no-go area.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, people they are really monetizing elections. You go to a meeting and like, okay, we have heard your good words, but our throats are busy. And I'm like, okay, what are they trying to mean? What are they trying to say? So in the back of your mind, it's like you have to give something. And with the tension, if you are not that firm, you end up like losing your way. You know, that is what is happening. But to me, and Nassolo, I don't have money, but I have good views. I have a warm heart. I have the brain that I can work.
The
ideas. You know that today I received a very important phone call from one of my teachers, 2016. And it was like, Irene, I've seen you. I was like, do you even have still have my number? I was like, yeah, I have your number. And I would love to host you and interview. I'm like, my teacher, I'm so humbled. How did he even come to know? He was like, no, I've seen you grow. You are this, he made this comment. You are this kind of person who is warm to people, who is able to learn, who can make a transition, who can make a difference, and who can go there to influence something. You know, in Uganda we sent you to Mikamangu, you know, you can go easily and like make the correct information to be presented to the public. So from there I was like, okay, I didn't know that what I was doing, it would one day do something better, because they have seen me grow and do things they didn't expect that I would do. So to me that is a plus if it comes from a person who I've not spoken with over like 10 years, and he still has like, I've seen you grow and I would love you to go somewhere.
Congratulations.
So, to me it's a win-win, yeah. So I tell people, I don't have money, but I have ideas. Just try me. Bank way. Good service. That is just it.
Thank you very much. I saw Bashira shaking her head when when I asked about regulating the money in politics. Bashira, please give us your opinion. Do you think that's a feasible thing for us?
Actually, the reason I was shaking my head, I felt like it's something that would be ideal. It's what we really want, but it can never be realized if we are in such a government. Why am I saying this? You find that the main reason as to why NRM has still clinged on to power to date is because of money. If that money goes away, they cannot have the support. So the first people that are going to object that particular item on the agenda of the Uganda Forum is the NRM itself. Because look at NUP in the central region. When the wave came in the 2021 election, you can even ask someone, how much money did you spend at a parliamentary level? And some people have spent like 10 million, some 5, some have even been given posters. They don't know what expense is. But because people love the change, people desire the change, people are giving back to them. So to me, I think it can't be realized. The first people that are going to beat it are the government itself, because it's what they used to buy opposition. It's what they used to control people. It's what they used to control civil society. It's what they used to control the youth. And the youth, they're doing it very well. So I think it's not.
Thank you. And
the look is communicating.
Yes. That is true. So I was also thinking about the recent marriage between the former FDC factions, the People's Front for Freedom and the Alliance for National Transformation. What do you think about it? Because I know you have a certain affiliation with FDC and the formers and all that. So what is your thought on the marriage? But also, how do you think the young people, especially young women, how do you think they're represented in such ideas in the marriage? How do you think their ideas are fronted in this type of situation?
I think I would relate it to a polygamous marriage. When you have a Hajj and you are 2 wives, the Hajj is providing everything.
So who is the Hajj?
Who is the Hajj?
The Hajj is FDC.
No.
So like the people, all the members of FDC are now the Hajjatis inside. So now the main man is the political party. So when Hajj does any injustice to number 1, number 2 will not listen to the cries of number 1, but will see it as an opportunity that as you go, I will become number 1. Or as you go, at least Hajj will give me more time.
Attention.
But after 5 years or 10 years, let me say 10 years.
2.
Not 2.
Yeah, 10 is a lot.
2. I'm giving an insight of the ANT and the current FDC and now PFF.
And now it's
So
5
when
years.
ANT
That is why we are saying 10 is a lot.
Yes. When
At least within the 5
ANT
years.
actually went in the 2016 election, after 2016 election. So when they left some people who are now in PFF.
Yes.
They left them in FDC and in positions of leadership. That is why I was bringing the Hajj story. We are still, Hajj is catering for us. If you have your issues with Hajj, you go. So now after 10 years, and now they have seen Hajj has brought in another woman. No, Hajj is still doing the bad manners.
Why we are
now you
saying
say, number 1 was right.
Why we are saying you reduce it to 5? Because even the last elections of 2021, some Hajjats went to NUP.
Very good. I think I brought a clear example.
Yeah, exactly.
So now it's just a matter of time. So the marriage, I think, would be is something that was just due. We had to foresee that, because for the same reasons that Mugisha Muntu fronted together with the team, the Winnie Kizas and the Alassos, that made them create the ANT, are the same reasons the PFF is fronting to create the front. So it's just that things didn't happen at the same time. Could be because some were in office and some maybe were not in office. You know, when you are, it was something that a certain journalist mentioned yesterday, that when you win an election, you will say it is free and fair. But when you lose, that statement will never come. It's very rare for someone to admit that I have lost.
As a politician, is that a statement you live by? Is that a statement you live by?
Yes, I do live by it.
Oh, okay. But I also wanted to ask something. The PFF and the ANT disagree, especially on approach to things. The ANT wants to build structures. The PFF wants to do disobedience, civil disobedience. So how do they reconcile this? How do they reconcile these two in this type of marriage?
Actually, the PFF's main ideology is freedom for all for freedom. And I don't think it differs from what ANT believes in. But it's just that the marriage is not about, you know, when you marry, it's not that you people have grown together, you have a lot. These days we're even seeing marriages from one religion to another. You find a Muslim with a Catholic.
I think there should be room for divorce when things get worse.
So yes, the differences are there, but I think right now we should focus on what has united them. And are they working towards what has united them? How are they drawing strategies that are going to make them realize the line that...
What's the position of the young people though? Like, do you see a lot of young people going on board with the baby political party and the new alliance? Do you see a lot of young people? What are the young people saying about it, the young people in the different parties?
Before I answer that, I'll go in a general way in all political parties. Today, young people are supporters, believe me or not.
Yeah.
We are just supporters. We go where our seniors are going. Most of the times, we don't even have a say before these formations are being... Because now these seniors of ours have someone calls, there is a funny name people call them, but I will not use that. Is it cadets, senior cadets? But these seniors of ours have young people behind them. And if you come and you are kind of a rebel, they will see you as someone they cannot even associate with. So to me, I think to answer that best is that most of the times, all the issues discussed in political parties, young people are not on the front line of making certain decisions. We just follow. Even when it comes to political participation. You see, today yesterday I even posted something, youth elections leaving electoral colleges. It's something we should consider. We are the majority in this country. Why should we still vote through electoral colleges? Are you getting it? It's something that we are compromised. How could we have only 5 or 6 electoral positions in parliament? So to me, these are things we should really discuss, and to answer that, I don't know. But what I can assure you is that we go by everything that is drafted by our seniors as young people. The moment we sit on the table, then we shall discuss.
But to refrain from that, the youth, I think the voting age is 18, right? So what is stopping them from participating? That should be away from the electoral colleges.
And commercialization.
The local government. It's not about, leave alone the commercialization of politics. What is stopping them? Starting from local government.
We can't outrule commercialization because it is a center of
Yeah,
it. You have to pay
is.
3 million, you have to pay.
I say starting from local government because even now I realize the recent youth elections, it started from the villages where it was not paid, though there was some commercialization, because I got to understand when people, they called me very early in the morning and they're like, you know what, madam, this is what is happening. What are we going to do? And I was like, okay, I didn't know that was happening, but right now my hands are tight because me and money.
You are parallel.
Thank you so much for your insights. Winfred, you've been quiet this whole time.
No, but I've been talking.
Yeah, but we need to get your insights. And, you know, as a person from civil society, and as a person who also attended the forum, you heard the conversations that took place, especially between the Electoral Commission and persons in civil society. In the previous election, accredited civil society actors were arrested, they were taken to prison, but also today the violence in election has escalated. So, as a person from the civil society, what do you believe that some of the positions reached at the country forum hold value, and do you think that they will reflect when, actually, are they reflecting now? Because accreditation is something that is supposed to be going on by now, so that when the campaigns begin, the observations are already on ground and everything is set. Do you think that the protection of the civil society and the relationship between civil society and the Electoral Commission is solid after the forum?
First, I want to congratulate and thank Center for Constitutional Governance with the partners for convening that safe space. It was really successful on my side. Having the different stakeholders in that space and having the discussion at play peacefully. Remember, we had different people from different parties. It was really successful. When you ask whether the recommendations or what was debated or what was talked about by the Minister of Justice, the EC, the representative from police, will it yield results? Now that is another thing. Yes. We must say that we succeeded having a discussion with them.
Oh,
yes?
Yes.
That is one step. Yes. Having civil society, party members, people from government in one room and speak, it is a success. But again, I'll start with the police, the representative from police. For you to ask me whether what they committed to will yield results, it is a yes and no. To them, they will say it has yielded results. To the people this side, it might not. I'll start from one of the statements where he said, members, please, elections, that is why the statement is free and fair, not free and excellent. That is already a message.
Yeah, true.
That is already a message to us that please, wake up. What does fairness mean to you? Mislapping you maybe a policeman can say that mislapping you is fairness to me, because at least I would either have kicked you or shot you. You get it? So we need already to see through people's statements. So when a police officer at his rank makes such a statement, you just know that, okay, we need to
Revise.
not even revise.
Strategize.
We are going into this expecting not the worst, but expecting that the same picture but dressed up in a different color or different version. You know, violence is people dress up violence in different ways. So now we need to prepare ourselves as different actors need to prepare themselves that now the kind of violence that is going to come in the 2026 election, how is it going to be dressed with the fairness statement and non-excellent? And when you look at the other question, he avoided so much the question around involving the military and militarizing the elections. He's so much, one thing I would love about the people, all the representatives from government, they were good at confusing the
audience.
The audience. They were not, I will not say good at confusing, they were smart. That is being smart. Smart at answering what suits them. So when they were asked, should we expect that elections, police is not going to involve the military, they avoided that question. They didn't answer, the person didn't answer it direct, but he said it is the police. I remember even that question was directed to the EC, the representative from EC and police. The one from EC told us, for us, we work directly with the police. So we don't know whether the army is involved. For us, we even don't know that. You know, that is, because these things now are digitalized, meaning that we see things on air. So when someone from EC tells you that, for us, we even don't know that the military is involved. For us, we work directly with the police. So there is no help from there. Meaning that for them, the person clearly said, to me, if I'm to evaluate their statement, militarization of politics, on our state, we have no control over it. That is what he said directly. Because when we say for us, we work directly with police. What comes after and who is involved is not under our mandate. You get it? So EC openly told us that about the question around militarization, that is not part of our mandate. And we need to understand them. That is not part of their mandate. But then when we go to the police, they were very clear and they said that we only bring in military when there is crisis. So it is now between other stakeholders and police to define what is crisis and when is crisis and what time does police identify crisis and at what time should the people of Uganda identify crisis. Because we've seen military people. Let's take the example of Kawempe. They were even there before
the crisis, any crisis happened.
And that is where I said it is now them to identify
what crisis.
Because when they told us we only involve, I remember the person was very clear. We only involve, and doctor even asked them about. But there's
an election, an emergency.
You get it?
Yes.
So it is now up to them to define for us at what point is a crisis. Because even before elections, me in my village, you see military guys moving around. So for them it means that during election, they anticipate that there is going to be a crisis. or they fuel the crisis. You get it?
Yes.
So when we get such responses from people who are supposed to keep law and order, we just know that they are going to keep the reverse.
Reflecting from the forum,
Yeah.
and from a human rights perspective, well, how do you think it's going to play out for the media?
I'm
the
getting
CSOs?
there. I was still getting there.
Okay.
Those I talked about the two. I liked the way Uganda Human Rights Commission presented the speech. But again, I love the speeches, but again, I most times feel speeches end on paper. Leaders of institutions that are supposed to regulate or even help citizens around violations most times have beautiful speeches. Most times are not present at the time of crisis, but later surface at the time of condemning. So between the equation, there is something lacking. You get it? But according to the speech that the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission gave, and the recommendation and their mandate and their promises, I believe 2026 elections, they're going to do better around their mandate than the previous, as per what they promised. And I also want to appreciate the other commissioner from the Uganda Human Rights Commission. Other people were so much talking about electoral reforms, and it really guided us so well that this is not the time to speak about elections, you know,
Reforms.
because which kind of reforms do you want? Do you want half-baked reforms? Do you want massaged reforms? Because right now, if we start, so that is why I'm saying, with the energies and the promises and so how strong Uganda Human Rights Commission is coming out strongly and committing itself this time, I believe we are going to get from them. It's going to, their commitment, and now that brings in human rights. It means maybe they are going to be present. Yes, they're not going to be passive and only issue statements or condemn or what we believe as per what they gave out. Now we go to the Minister of Justice. I believe we all have feelings. Everyone has feelings. But I believe that by the moment you get into some seat, even with your feelings, I think that is now the question we wanted to ask me about media.
Yes.
Minister of Justice, who holds a position, a central position around human rights activists, government, like he's a center of
Access to justice, yes.
Yeah, access to justice. But in simple terms, you know those words, my village mother will not understand access to justice. But let's know that he's the center of bringing all these parties together and finding a solution for all the problems. When he comes out clearly to tell media that me, I will not be, I am not going to help you in any way because you have done injustice to me. You get it? Truth is, there is a saying that, I've forgotten who wrote it, but where they say, if you don't want to get dirty, don't involve in a dance with a pig. You get it? By the time he allowed to be in, by the time, I don't want to use the pigs, but that was just now an example, that if you choose to dance with a pig, it means that you're going to get dirty. If you chose the way of becoming a politician, because when he gave us his background, he's a politician. You get it? And he's in an office, yes, where he attracts attention. And truth is, in all positions where we are, even me where I am, even if from home, just parents. You remember, let's go back at school. Our teachers attracted attention from the different students. With their action, remember, would find either they're written in toilets or you'd even find at the blackboard. You get it? Yes. So I expect Honorable Mao to expect the positive and the negative from everyone. True. Whether media has done him injustice, him coming out, yes, we understand he's vulnerable. I really understand where he's coming from. But coming on a forum and openly showing that him and media, they've drawn a line, even when media comes to him for justice, was very clear. He's not ready to help them. You get it? And remember, media plays a
crucial role
in
transparency
during elections. You get it? I'm not saying what media does is right. What media does is wrong. But I remember, media persons are different people. They are humans. They are different. They also have, and in fact, these days there is a way. Not even only these days, poetry and how is it called? Sometimes poetry. It is poetry and cartoon. There's a way they call graphics. It falls around cartoon. So somehow someone chooses to attract audience through either poetry or cartoons. It is up to them. Now, it is in your... It is up to you to have either your feelings to go down. Like, that was... You wouldn't do that. Even how hard... It's like giving them satisfaction that, yes, what we are doing, we've got to his nerves.
Yes.
You get it? However painful it is as a leader and in the position he chose to go into, because in reality, him taking up that position from opposition didn't sit well with everyone. And I believe if it was also someone else who had done that, it wouldn't have sat well with him. You get it? So he shouldn't expect that things should go the way he likes. And right now, as we go into elections, he needs to revise his decision. Because he openly told us about his decision around media. He might not, but his action moving forward, or even when, because he was talking the truth, how he feels. You get? But again, his action as we go into elections, as cases come on his table about media, his action toward the cases will mean a lot. That is why for me, I would say, given the threat to the media fraternity from the Minister of Justice, because that is a threat, that any other person who wants to violate the media fraternity would feel comfortable. He laid the ground for the violators to continue violating the media. You get it? So it is now he needs to sit and revise his action and his pain. Even when he's feeling the pain, he needs to heal from the pain as a leader. And he chose the game. He chose it. You get?
Yes.
And as a person from the NGO, from the NGO perspective, now my perspective, I was now talking about what people said in that room. I believe with everything discussed, we need to agree that government needs to agree, the state needs to agree that NGOs do a lot of work. They are key stakeholders in this. They do a lot of work, and they've done a lot of work around empowerment. Because when we look at elections, we want to me personally, I think everyone should accept that right now we are seeing the changes in numbers of people in the different positions because of the empowerment from the NGOs. We are seeing the very many number of women who are now part of the, who are aspiring for different positions, who have been nurtured through NGOs. You get it? Not only that, sensitizing people at the ground. NGOs are doing a very great job. You get it? There was a discussion around accreditation. And of course, many NGOs people say that they're not yet gotten accreditation. But again, we need to, I think EC need to revise how they're doing it. Putting the call out, even when the EC assured us that this is an ongoing process, that NGOs have to continuously do it, not around, but why they put out a call during this time, it's because they want as if to form a consortium of some members who they work closely with. But the question is, putting it there in a time frame of 1 year, is it really enough? Yet they can't even give them out within 6 months. You get it? So there is need to revise the processes, the systems. If it is supposed to be there, can they start working with those they want accredit? Like 3 years, or even in the mid of the elections, if we are remaining like 2.5 years for it to be better, they can even give themselves time of 1 year time to because he said we have to check the organization. Some organization have not got the accreditation because they haven't paid for annual returns. So how have they even prepared people? So can they also look at the time frame when they put out the call? You get it? You get it?
Yes.
Right now, we have also applied to be part of the observers. But when you apply, they tell you they're going to send you a code. We didn't receive the code. However, we received an email asking us to have people who are going to observe to register. You get? Now people have registered who are under the organization. But again, they are telling them, go back to the organization. It seems they haven't yet completed the registration. But within 2 months, we haven't yet received even the code.
Really?
Yet even we have followed up. You get it? So I don't know how they could even send an email to have the observers register, individual observers register under the organization without the organization completing the process. Because when you get the code, that is when you complete the what? The process. So I think EC also is not yet prepared enough for the next exercise. They are telling us how they are going to digitalize the process. But remember, yes, it's a good thing, but the time frame,
it's too short.
It's too short. Last time I went to, very many of the cards, the national IDs are expired. Many people are having IDs. But remember now they even said, even if yours has not expired, you have to go back and register. I liked the process this time. I like the machines. You'll see now everything is digitalized. It is different from, so when they talk about it, you see, okay, there is a difference. But remember, up to now, we have not yet gotten the what? We have not yet gotten the new issued IDs. And we are already in the mid-year. So, but remember, why I'm saying they're also not yet, they are not prepared enough. Remember, there are also people who are now already 18 years who didn't vote the other time and need registration. So at what time, within these 6 months remaining, when are we voting? It's always February?
January.
It's January.
It's January. So if we have, now we are in June, July. The 5 months between now and the 5 months, we really easy put out our IDs, the valid ones, and also have the other young people who are now 18 and above register. So within the room, if you want me to predict that are things going to be safe, it is 50-50.
All right. I'm going to stop you there now because our time is we are going into the hour. But I still have I want to get some thoughts from all of you, because now from the Country Forum, we know that every person has a role to play in ensuring that we have a peaceful, free and fair elections, meaning we should follow the law while the other people observe the law. And while we may or may not be able to count on the institutions of the state to to follow the law or to execute the law fairly, as all of us have articulated. I would like to get each of our thoughts, starting with you, Trasyleen, how we can contribute. How do you think young people can contribute to a free and fair elections? We've had the paramilitary groups that are in different parties, they call them the Egali, are being dominated by youth. How do they refrain from engaging in violence and all the things that the youth groups are known for?
Okay, so I think the young people have a lot of information at their disposal, and in a space where the world has gone digital, most of the young people are on...
hold on, I would like us to summarize in a minute each.
Yes. Most of the young people are on media, they're on WhatsApp, they're on Twitter, they're on all those platforms.
Yes.
So those are some of the spaces. If you can record, if it is an election about staffing or what, and you're there, you can record, you can share the things online, you can share the things in groups, you can report those same events. But also the young people can use the same space again for advocacy, especially for those who are contesting. You put out your flyer on Twitter and you never know your next sponsor could come from viewing that. And lastly, as young people, we have to, particularly women, we have to be aware of the violence that is already eyeing us and have measures that we must rebut back. One, do not move alone in a campaign. Don't move at night. You're alone in a car. You're going to meet candidates or you're going to meet a certain voter. Have a team that you go with and trust. Also, have your emotional intelligence really working, because voters are going to say everything to throw you back. Voters are going to generate IA things and you'll be pushed back because of not being well prepared emotionally. So mind your emotions. Don't throw back anyhowdy. Sometimes you don't have to comment on everything. Your silence could be the only option that saves you out. And also, for the aspect of finances, try to rely on the first sources that you have, and the first sources are the networks that you have built. You can reach out to Nancy. She could help you share the flyers. She could help you move around the community without you necessarily having to, have those huge sums of money. Understanding your priorities within the campaign. Yes, that's what I can add.
Irene, please give us your take.
Well, regards my take, as I'm going to stand in the upcoming elections, I would really urge the women, let us not back down, because we are the majority, and I believe that we can do this. Let us not look at the other side of our weaker side. Let us look that we are women and we can make a difference. And I believe that in these elections we need to be prepared, especially with organizing our homes, because many things they are going to rally up behind us. How are we going to handle that? We need to be very ready and we need to be calm. And I would love to urge the women to also handle this election peacefully. When you decide to do something peacefully, it will happen. And if you decide to do the otherwise, it will also go the other side. But I believe that we can make a difference without even money. Me, I don't have money. I normally tell my friends that, you know what, me and money, yeah. But I believe that before money, there is a good service that I can give to the people. And I believe that through the networks I've been building, every day I wake up in the morning, I share different platforms, my posters, and I tell, if you are my friend, share this post of mine to 10 friends and families. I believe it will reach somewhere. Even me minus even going out there or asking for a vote or a rally, I believe that those people, they will know that Irene is coming. Recommend me, I'll gladly move to that place and ask for a vote. So let us learn to work within our means, and as we believe for the best, because God knows the leaders even before they are voted. That is my biggest ambition and faith, and believe that if I'm going to be the next, I'll be the next, whether you like it or not.
Thank you very much.
Where are you pointing here?
I'm pointing there. But you might not.
I would love to give 2 parting shots. First of all, this goes to the general public. We need to know what we want. understand our values, understand our principles, our goals. So after understanding what we want, then we should individually or maybe in groups work towards achieving what we really desire. If it's a country, with whichever idea you have for it, work towards that and make sure you realize that. And lastly, I would want to give something very, I don't know, but it's something that I front every time I am out there. I tell people that we have a lot that unites us than what divides us. So as you go for your colors, as you go for your family, as you go for your close friends, just know we have a lot that unites us. We have humanity. We have the challenges of corruption. Corruption doesn't know whether you support the government or you don't support it. The poor health system doesn't know whether you support the government or not. So those issues that really unite us, we should work towards them and ignore the petty things that really divide us. Thank you.
Is that the ANTPFF alliance model? Thank you very much, Bashira. Now we would like to get your parting shots on how we can all contribute to a peaceful, free and fair election.
I'll start with the citizens. Your life matters, and you can only achieve the change you want when you're alive.
Yeah, sure.
Don't get involved in violence. Make sure that at least you go and vote, because if you don't vote, your vote only will miss out and your candidate will miss out. So vote. Don't fear to vote because you think they'll steal their votes. Go and vote. To the civil societies, collectively we are stronger. Let us try so much to see during this time that we work together for a better country. For that we envision as civil societies. And to the government should know that they should work closely with the civil societies, because in fact we are doing most of the work they are supposed to do during this time. So the government should invest so much into the civil society rather not fight the civil society. You get it? And again, I also want to call upon and to ask the government why NRM went to the bush was because of the violation, was because of security, was because of the peace. Let that echo into their heads. Because right now, I think we are living in a, war is different. We are living in a war zone, but a modified one. So, can the state stop violating violence? Fueling violence, I mean. By fueling violence, putting soldiers on the street, army men, now putting, is it jet? How are they called? Jet. People don't know. Maybe they are there for a good cause, but you don't just put them. So they should stop fueling violence within the people, and they should let people exercise their freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, like how everyone is moving around. Let them create a conducive environment for all persons that are getting involved, for all stakeholders that are getting involved in the electoral cycle. That is what I can say.
At the expense of their power?
I really understand that it is at the expense of their power, but truth is, they have already, what people will give them if they really do what? But again, as we prepare to vote, please, let's vote the right people. We are suffering because we are voting rotten leaders. We are voting leaders who are very selfish. So as we prepare within these 6 months, let's avoid the things of color. Color is nothing. I'm happy, I'm non-partisan. So I ask myself, look at someone, what is someone going to do? And this one goes also, I've talked to the government. Let me take this last one to the opposition. Opposition, you're doing the citizen a disservice. You're doing citizens a disservice. Citizens are saying we want the change, and you're also saying we want the change. But again, oppositions are having different they're competing within themselves. So if opposition can unite And they say if in Wachiso, we Noop is taking Wachiso, Simanya East over West. Now let me give an example. If Noop is taking North, no, I'm just saying, if they are taking North, let other parties support them in North to defeat NRM.
Surely.
If then another party goes there. But opposition is doing a disservice to themselves and to the citizen. If the change they want is to be realized, unity is key.
Thank you very much, Winnie. Oh, thank you, ladies. We've come to a successful end of our deliberations. Thank you for your thoughtful contributions to this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this Tuesday afternoon. This was Women Speaking and the women's perspective on the Uganda Forum, and then also the political party activities that have been going on in the past weeks. My name is Caroline Ayot. I encourage all of you to exercise your democratic rights, to be informed, and to remain peaceful for a peaceful, free, and fair elections in 2026. Thank you for watching. But also, go on our social medias and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also X.